I got Dallas 11-6.
He kept the, I know they would say, oh, well, he kept the tag applied. He could have kept the tag applied and not straddled homeboy. You know what I mean? He could have moved his leg. So.
Oh, it was fine. It's just.
I'm just saying.
Ramirez
I
just
mean,
had a little.
it wasn't necessary.
Nothing wrong.
It didn't need to get to that extreme. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing wrong.
Bills in a last-second field goal or a last-second touchdown by Aaron Rodgers to take the division.
He's kicking field goals too. I want to bet.
Right?
I want. Good evening. Wow, I was not prepared for that intro, folks. Jesus. Man, didn't know we had a new intro there. Somebody tell the host next time. Anyway, good evening, folks. It is officially week one of football kicking off in 3 days, right? It's Labor Day. We got to work tomorrow, Wednesday, and then on Thursday, opening day, Chiefs, Lions. Also, before I forget, man, hey, now you're an all-star. Rest in peace to the one and only Smash Mouth lead singer. I don't even know his name. I should know better. I thought it was Guy Fieri. I thought Guy Fieri was the lead singer of Smash Mouth. So I thought, rest in peace, Guy Fieri. But I guess I just found out recently today, that they're not the same guy. I thought they were the same guy. I thought Guy Fieri was the lead singer, Smash Mouth, plus the chef. But hey, guess Guy Fieri's still alive, lead singer dead from Smash Mouth. But hey, now you're an all-star. Speaking of all-stars, let's bring in our guy, Johnny Cruz.
What is going on? And yeah, surprise with the new intro. Shout out to Tanner. You might it'd be nice if you let people know, but that was a cool surprise. That was a nice intro, Tanner. Well done, man.
Yeah, great. Johnny, how's it going? I heard you say we were on the Johnny Cruz show earlier. Yankees swept the Astros, huh?
Yes. The Yankees actually gave me reason to wear one of their fucking hats finally. Because they've been shitty for a hot minute. I still represent them out in the street, but definitely not on the show when they play like ass. But they got a nice sweep. But yes, we were on the Johnny Cruz show. I have my boy Nick and of course SJ Cole with me. Every Monday night, 8 p.m. Definitely check it out. So Yankee fans, enjoy the 3-game sweep, but don't start getting those swollen heads. Don't start pumping your chest out like we're going to go and win 10 of 11 and make a possible run. If they do, holy shit, but they're not. So don't get too hyped up, but enjoy the sweep. Enjoy watching those young kids. We got some good young players led by, Jason Dominguez, the Martian himself, switch hitter, 20 years old, playing center field. Hopefully he amounts to something, but I'm glad we're finally getting to see the kids because I've been wanting to see them for months. So I enjoyed the weekend. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, and we're going to even have a better weekend this weekend. As Thursday night, we'll be sitting here making picks at the back end of the show tonight. We'll make our first official picks for the first game of the 2023-2024 season, Lions and Chiefs. So looking forward to that. We got a big show with Jim and Jonathan later on too. Let's go ahead and bring in the Hall of Famer, Scott Coe.
Has anybody checked on Jonathan tonight? I know he must be wallowing in his sorrows right now. So
Scott, you got to be hot on this gambling because a while back you said, "Hey Nick, I put money on Justin Steele to win the NL Cy Young." And by God, the kid's now tied in wins and second in ERA as he dominated the Giants today. And my Cubs win. This kid is on a run, not quite like the Jake Arrieta run of 15, but man, this kid is really good. And you might be able to cash that bet in, Scott.
The guys that were ahead of him, Zach Gallen in Arizona, is starting to fall flat in his face now.
And their team's falling back, right? Their
team is falling back. Max Fried was injured for half of the season, so I don't know if he's going to get any Cy Young votes. He might not. So Justin Steele, who pitched great today against San Francisco, shutout ball, is all of a sudden, as you said, his stats are better than Gallen's and Fried's, and so he's in front in the Cy Young. And I got him at like plus 1,600 to win the Cy Young earlier, so I didn't look to see what he is now, but I'm going to assume after today he's going to be like plus 600, plus 700 or something. So
Nice.
That's why I gotta tell you, people, you gotta jump on this stuff early.
If you're gonna bet on it. I like it, Scott. I told you, hey, I didn't know if he was gonna win it, but after today, if he pitches like he's pitching, when you're you could be the National League winner and wins and second in ERA, or maybe by the end of the month he catches, isn't tied for first or something like that in ERA. It's just like, well, why not? Why not him?
Right. And Nick, the other thing is, if the Cubs make the playoffs, that's going to get him extra votes because they're going to say Justin Steele led them to the playoffs because Stroman's out, Hendricks has been so, and the rest of their pitching rotation is not great. So Steele is their number one starter, unquestioned, and they should go into next year, the rest of this year and next year, treating him like that because he's been awesome. He's been lights out lately. So
he has been. He's a good lefty. I love the kid. I'm excited to see him. And this is the first time the Cubs have had really a homegrown pitcher, come through their organization. Kyle Hendricks was actually traded from the Rangers, was drafted, but this guy's been the whole time a Cub. I couldn't tell you. I think Carlos Zambrano, would be my guess. The last time the Cubs actually had like a real ace that was homegrown.
Yeah, and then before that was Kerry Wood and
Kerry Wood.
The
guy too.
Right.
Yeah. So if you look at it, what the Cubs need to do with their pitching rotation next year is say, okay, Steele's our number one. Let's get a solid number two. Keep Stroman. Stroman's been really good for them.
They got these two young kids. They pitched really good in the Cincinnati series in the bullpen. This Assad kid that pitched for them, Javier Assad, he went 8 innings the other night, and he's been lights out. And this new kid, Wicks, watch out for him. His first 2 starts, he's been dominant. So finally, for the first time, probably since Wood and Pryor, where we had the World Series run with Lester and Arrieta and Hendricks, but these 3 kids, 3 homegrown kids for the Cubs here. I really like it, but I know you guys don't want to sit here and talk to the Cubs all day like I could.
Well, I'm going to say one last thing, Nick.
All good, yeah.
Sign Bellinger long term.
I say it every time. I am the dude in Rounders. Pay that man his money. That's how I feel. I don't know if you guys the movie Rounders. What's his name? John Malkovich. John Malkovich, at the very end when Matt Damon beats him, he beats me. Pay that man his money. That's every time Cody Bellinger fucking hits a home run. I tweet it out. Pay that man his money. Just give him a blank fucking check right fucking now. He's been the heart and soul of this team. When we were 10 games under is when he was on the IL. When he's out there, we're a fucking winning team. Scott, who'd we bet on today? We got Clemson and Duke going right now in a 7-6 dogfight. So I hope he took the under.
I took the under, and I'm Clemson's starting to get it together on offense right now. So I'm a little nervous that they're going to score like 30 straight points in the next 2 quarters to move this under to an over. But I did another parlay today. I took Justin Steele over 17.5 outs. Cole Reagans, the Kansas City pitcher, over 17.5 ounce. He's been lights out too. And the Orioles on the money line tonight. So I did that parlay, and I've got 2 out of 3. And Baltimore plays on the West Coast at 9:30 Eastern time. So they'll be starting soon. So great. If Baltimore can win, that's another parlay that I'll cash. And if this stays under, that's 2 tonight that I've cashed. So this one's a little bigger than the other one. So those are the ones I did today. I'm not doing much baseball anymore. Obviously, it's game week. So my focus, my main focus has been toward NFL bets and wages and stuff. So
nice.
That's what I'm looking at right now. So
all right, but don't forget to still throw some scraps at us, at us newbies with some baseball picks sometimes.
Well, the thing I'll do is I'll come off of baseball right now, and then when the playoffs start, I'll go back on to baseball a little bit again, because that's you. So but any baseball bet that I throw out there, or obviously football, Thursday night we'll do the picks. I'll be on live via location from Las Vegas. Probably I'll jump in for that segment, and I'll make the picks with you guys. So.
Just make sure you go outside every once in a while, so that way if it's nighttime, or if it's daytime and shit.
What, there's a nightlife in Vegas? Is this what you guys are saying?
Stuck in those hotels.
Yeah, there is a
Bobby G and me might hook up one night. I might contact
That'd
him,
be cool,
see if he
man.
wants to go out for some beers or something. So,
Oh,
That'd be
nice.
awesome. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy's got a busy day. I don't even know where we start at with our guests on Monday night. I mean, there's huge wrestling news. Obviously, we got to talk about huge college football games that we got to talk about. There's the U.S. Open that he's tweeting out. Check out his Twitter. I mean, he's giving us updates on how good the American men are doing on the U.S. Open. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. Hockey season, I think, is about to start sometime in the next month and a half. So he's ramping up for that. I don't really know where to begin. He's a savant. I tell you, he's a Renaissance man. Give it up for none other than Mr. Biringer Bomb himself, Jim Biringer, baby.
Yo, what's
what
up,
up? What
gentlemen?
up?
What's going on,
What's up,
boys?
Jim? Jim, I got one thing to say before we start. CM Punk.
Jim, we'll get to the wrestling. I don't know if you want to talk the wrestling stuff or the football stuff. I'm going to give you the floor and let you talk about what you want to talk about first, brother.
All right, I want to get this off. Scott said it. CM Punk. Let's just begin there. I think that's the big talking point.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk Colorado. We could talk Florida State. We could talk how Notre Dame's already overrated after 2 games because they played nobody. Or Oregon or Oklahoma. I don't really care.
We are going to save the Florida State LSU talk for Jonathan because, you know, he loves LSU. So we can't wait to talk about that game with him.
No, I know. But let's start with CM Punk. Okay, so I'm going to continue by saying this is like a game of – we all know the game of telephone. We played this as a kid, right?
Yep.
The more and more people say things –
Scott played Morse code. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Morse
Well,
code.
Scott played Morse code. Okay.
Yeah, me and Keith.
Oh, by the way, thank you for that introduction, first of all. Thank you for that introduction, and glad to be with my maniacs here on a Monday night. But the game of telephone, everything's getting lost in translation, right? Something gets lost along the way. Okay, we know what happened at All In. We know things happened in front of Tony Khan. We get this investigation. But I go back to 3 guys in the back that have executive vice president titles. That they don't like him. They never wanted him there. They're afraid of CM Punk's star power. They're jealous of him. All that stuff. I mean, you look at it. I've been getting told information that they were afraid that Punk was going to get in Tony Khan's ear, shape up the back, change some things around. Look, you can't lunge at your boss and expect to get away with it. Whatever happened. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. But the big thing for me is, why is all of a sudden, like, I'm starting to watch like interviews from Punk when he first came in. The big reason he came in was that none of Brody Lee's health stuff was leaked. All of a sudden, we got leaks everywhere in this company. Like,
Yeah, I know.
I love this company, but every hour something comes out, something different. Now all of a sudden it's stuff about William Regal. It's like, what do you believe anymore? Because it's just a lot of it's just to stir the pot, the sides, the tribalism in wrestling. And look, CM Punk has his own demons he needs to face, right? I am not condoning any of his actions. He is 100% part of the problem. But the other part of the problem is that locker room that is not under control. That guys can get away with stuff. Look, take for example today, or Collision, the Bucks running around an empty building with taking a victory lap. Then you got today on BT, Kenny Omega with the Pepsi joke. It's like, come on. Like, when push comes to shove to it, when CM Punk's throwing punches at you, they run and hide. And then they don't want to do business. Look, I'm not saying that he's not at fault. I'm the biggest Punk guy in the world. I love CM Punk. He definitely needs to handle things better. But there is a lot of blame that needs to go around in this entire situation.
So here's my question.
Okay, Scott.
They said there was an investigation committee. Okay? Do we know who was on that investigation committee?
We have no idea who was on that committee.
To me, it's Omega, the Young Bucks, and somebody else, and maybe Hangman Page on an investigation committee. 4 guys that hate him the most. What do you think? Hey, Tony, you got to fire him. That's it. He's done. He's toxic.
Jim,
That's who's on the. Come on, really?
Jim,
really.
Are you buying in that Tony Khan was scared for his life? This man said he was scared for his life. Did he run out of cocaine? Is that why he was scared for his life, or what?
Look, I mean, look. Apparently, monitors are being thrown around. Like, the guy's the biggest wrestling mark in the world. I will give him credit. He came out. He took the booze. He took the abuse that he needed to take from Chicago. He said he didn't want to do it. He's the biggest CM Punk guy in the world. He kind of turned the crowd, and the event kind of turned the crowd. But, you know, Jim Cornette likes to talk on his own pot. He's got his own thing, but he believes that there's somebody else involved here. This chief legal officer, Mega Parak, however you say her name, she's friends with the Young Bucks too. So, like, we kind of know where this whole situation is. Now, was his life threatened? No, but monitors and the way Punk was probably talking at him and heated and all this stuff, again, he needs to control his temper. He needs to do things a lot better. But if there's no consequences the first time, when push comes to shove and guys are getting punched in the face, they don't want to take it. And now we got, you know, we supposedly had a meeting. No, we didn't. Yes, we did. It get canceled last minute. Like, again, nobody knows what to believe because things come out every 30 minutes. It's
reported that Punk's fucking his flight and his transportation was all fucked up over there in England. They're gonna give the Bucks gonna give Jack Perry a raise, huh?
Well, Jack Perry's still suspended, so I mean, pending whatever. And I love pending an investigation, bro. You know what? Like, I don't want to sound like Vince Russo, but bro, it happened in front of you. You know what happened. Like, we didn't need Saturday. We didn't need till Saturday to know what was going on. Yeah, my understanding is CM Punk's gonna big shockwaves because you know, he has every right to sue Tony Khan and AEW for a hostile work environment.
I told you this on Saturday. I think it was. I said Tony Khan would have should have gone full heel, and he should have hit the CM Punk music and came out to CM Punk's music. I mean, hey, so you're gonna get booed anyway. You might as well just go full heel mode. Go Vince McMahon and do the CM Punk screwed CM Punk and come out to CM Punk's music. And go Vinnie Mac. Go that Vinnie Mac from the Attitude Era is what he should have done. I don't. CM Punk, does he return to WWE? Could you imagine? I told you, what if at Payback he showed up? That pay-per-view was a little meh for me. But if he would have showed up at Pittsburgh with the AEW title, or if he shows at Royal Rumble or something like that with the AEW
I think the place to do it is Survivor Series. Chicago, why not? I mean, for me, this is how you do it, right? Again, they're never going to do it. This is complete fantasy.
This is wrestling, Jim. You can't say never say never. We know that.
We know that, but this is how they're not going to book it. This is how I would book it, because I didn't like this goes back for me when CM Punk lost the WWE Championship to The Rock at Royal Rumble. Rock Cena 2 didn't need the title. He should have still been champion. Roman Reigns, whatever match he's in, wins, and then Punk's music hits, say it's for the championship. Paul Heyman can't give him the title because CM Punk is truly a Paul Heyman guy. And that's the guy who takes the title off of him because The Rock took the title off of CM Punk.
Ooh, I get it. I like it. I mean, we're kind of missing the Cody Rhodes finish the story there, but CM Punk cuts the line.
Do we believe the rumors that CM Punk and Triple H have talked?
He was at WWE events in Chicago when the last time they were there at Raw. He was burying hatchets with guys.
Well, supposedly, I guess after he got fired, he called Triple H and had a conversation with him. That's the rumor that I heard.
I mean, again, who knows what to believe because there's so much going on.
Right,
right. I don't know if the way he left that company, I mean, again, never say never. Eric Bischoff, the guy who tried to put WWE out of business, was general manager on Raw in 2002. So, again, you can never say never in this business. It's just a shame, like, backstage stuff and off. Like, I'm a big AEW
there's
guy.
A hierarchy. There's a hierarchy in WWE that Punk would like, right? Like, in AEW, really the kids are running the asylum. You know what I mean?
He was trying to bring professionalism to the locker room.
And there's professionalism in WWE, right? You know who the veteran leaders are, and they trickle that down. And really, there's two guys calling the shots. We know Vinnie Mac and H are calling shots.
But the point is, from Punk's perspective, is none of these young guys are listening to what the old guys got to say.
Yeah,
and it's really annoying him.
And that doesn't happen in WWE, I don't feel.
No, and a lot of I bet you there are backstage brawls all the time or backstage fights all the time in the current WWE. We don't hear about it because because Undertaker set up wrestlers' court, grievances. Like there needs to be a true locker room leader. You got Sting there, you got Jericho there, you got Samoa Joe there, you got MJF there.
You know what they need? They need the world's daddy, and that's Christian Cage.
Yo, Christian Cage, new contract. Remember, he talks about himself and Luchasaurus. He has no other friends. Just remember that.
Well, when Edge comes in, he might have it. He might have.
No, he was asked about that yesterday, and his response was, "I only talk about myself. I have no other friends except Luchasaurus. Those are the only thing I'm talking about."
Jim, I want to get past the CM Punk thing real quick, and what's your there's 2 pay-per-views this weekend.
Too much, man.
What was you have a certain match or a certain wait? How about Danielson? AEW owes everything to Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Jesus, they're letting the Bucks and Kenny Omega run the place, but give the company to Jon Moxley and MJF and Bryan Danielson. They have saved that company every time there's bad news. Those 3 guys elevate themselves and that company to me.
I agree with you. Jon Moxley's been the MVP. He steps up every time. Bryan Danielson said last night he's going to step up because that's what he needs to do. Jay White and Danielson are going to be running Collision. He's already been had his hand in Collision and writing shows and doing all that stuff. He's going to be more prominent on that. Moxley's just a machine. So weekend takeaways for me. Okay, Payback was best match was the tag team match with
Agreed. Surprise to you, Judgment Day?
No, not really. I think they needed to establish themselves as a dominant force. It's the WWE MO. Give all the belts to the big group going at the time. We saw Evolution, DX, it's the Bloodline. We've seen all that.
I just thought that JD and then would turn on Priest is kind of what I thought was going to maybe going to happen.
What I don't like is the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura beat up Seth Rollins after the pay-per-view went off the air.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, it was on the
there was camera footage, an exclusive that showed Shinsuke beating up Rollins in the runway after the pay-per-view went off the air. It's wait a minute.
Yep, I saw that too.
You couldn't tease a cash-in
to
close the show. That's just poor. Trish Stratus, Becky killed it. I mean,
give it up. They got 37 years old. God damn it, she's still sexy and she can still go in the ring.
Look, give it up. They deserve their time. They got their time, and that's the way they needed it. As far as All Out goes, I mean, look, it was tough. Look, I will say this: AEW and All Out is exactly what that company needed. This past week, yes, the build wasn't great, and Tony Khan's tired of talking about how builds up. We know the show's always going to deliver and always going to be good. And he continues to tout All In, which he should. And we need to talk about that in the weekend that it was and the week it was. The fact that the international title is your main event means something. Orange Cassidy elevated that title, elevated himself. Now it's going to Jon Moxley. That title is going to continue to be elevated. It's the second best title, singles title to me, behind the AEW World Championship.
Agreed.
They had good matches. I mean, the storyline with Cole, MJF is great. Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs, big time match. Darby Luchasaurus, that was really good. I mean, they had a good wrestling show. It might not have been the standard AEW pay-per-view, but it was a good event. I mean, I watched most of it today because it went too long again last night. So I watched the main event this morning, and I was happy with it. And, I liked Cassidy. I was glad Cassidy and Moxley closed the event, as a couple guys and I were talking about. We're like, I think that's the match to close it. The way they were building everything, I'm like, that's the match. I mean, there's no other match. Kenny Omega Takeshita was really good. A couple scary spots for Omega. I mean, it's just unreal what this guy does. And, look, it was a good weekend of wrestling. If you were a fan, there was a lot on. If you decided to watch it all, great. If you didn't, all right, go back and watch it when you have time. There's a lot of good matches. Hopefully next year at this time when we're doing all this thing, AEW's on HBO Max or a streaming service where they can bundle 2 events. So you don't have to, whatever, some of us get it for free, but if you want to pay for fine, whatever. I mean, take away from it, Tony Khan did say last night 100,000 pay-per-view buys last night. So that's a really good number considering a lot of people didn't expect it.
All the drama that has happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
2 questions on the AEW thing. One, Lana's back. Lana's back. I don't know where they're going with this Miro Lana storyline, but it'd be interesting to watch. 2, Daniel Bryan's put himself in a weird position right now. He wrestles Ricky Starks last night, gets cheered out of the building last night with Ricky the Dragon, but he's still in the Blackpool Combat Club.
He talked about he talked about that in the after thing. Is pretty much just like, I'm always going to get Bryan Danielson's a face for life. I feel like people just love him. He said, but being part of the Blackpool Combat, he can always blur the lines there. If somebody needs to be stabbed with a wrench because that's what needs to happen, well, guess what? That's what needs to happen.
But it's just the feel of it. I mean, he's there, but it doesn't feel like he's a part of the group. I know he's been injured, but the fact that he comes out the final countdown and the place goes nuts for him, like he came out and was the surprise opponent on Collision. Yeah, I get he's a part of the Blackpool Combat Club, but it doesn't feel like he's a part of the Blackpool Combat Club.
That's right. And I wonder, because of what happened with Regal, if that's a storyline that's going to be played now, is that, hey, Regal was leading us, and now all of a sudden you turned your back on him, so I'm turning my back on you, or something.
Well, it's weird because like his last 2 singles matches has been outside the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I'm interested to see where this Lana stuff goes too, because Miro, his promos always talk about like his wife and all this stuff, and that she's there. He walked out on her last night after she makes the save. Like, it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. Again, like up and down, like when you saw, it's like, it's a meh card. But again, it was entertaining, and I think that's what really matters, right? I guess.
Yep.
Jim, let's shift some gears and talk a little college football. What was your initial thoughts here on the opening weekend? We kind of talked a little bit about that Colorado game yesterday. They're the real deal. I said it before. I'm all in on Coach Prime and Buffalo to go in there and beat a team that played in the national title game, ranked number 17, and to win. I mean, it
I said they were going to win last week, right? Didn't I say they were going to win last week?
I think you did. I believe so,
yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm believing the Colorado train. Look, the hype is there. Look, Deion is Deion.
The talent is there, Jim. Not just the hype, the talent.
Deion is Deion. Prime is Prime. He's not going to change. He's the same guy he was in Florida State in the NFL. The difference is he's a really good coach. He's a really good motivator. He gets these guys going. Travis Hunter's the best 2-way player in college football. The interception that he had out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, was ridiculous. His son is Shedeur Sanders is unbelievable at the quarterback position. Look, TCU had to replace a lot of guys last year. They actually have their starting quarterback from last season playing. They played a really good game. They just made a couple of mistakes. Colorado came in. Their defense has to get better because when they go into the Pac-12, I mean, look, granted, USC's defense isn't the greatest.
Nobody plays defense in the Pac-2. Nobody plays defense in the 2-pack.
Well, nobody plays defense in the Big 12 either. So we kind of got a shootout yesterday of what we're going to see when Colorado does go to the Big 12 next year. So, yeah, the Big 12 doesn't play any defense. Look, the Pac-12, give it up for the Pac-12 in their final season together. Only conference to go undefeated in week 1, 13-0. First time ever. Right. So give it up for the Pac-12. But look, Colorado, they're going to make noise in that Pac-12. Look, they got Nebraska next week. I think they can win that game easily. Colorado State. Okay, so they're 3-0 going into Oregon. Hey, anything can happen. I mean, look, he's got these kids believing. He brings the transfer portal, brings the talent. He gets rid of guys that he doesn't want there. He brings the swagger and the hype, and eyeballs are going to be on Colorado all year. TCU played a good game. They just made a couple of mistakes. Sonny Dykes got a good squad, but again, they're not the team that went to the national championship game, and they're probably not going to be in the Big 12.
Colorado's favorite, Jim, minus 3.5 against Nebraska.
When it opened, it was Colorado was plus 2.5. So it's already swung 5 points the other way.
So if you bet Colorado plus 2.5, you're going to make some nice money next week.
Yep.
How high is Colorado going to be ranked, yo?
I think they get in the 20s this week. I think they get into the 20s.
They might beat out Iowa. Iowa was 25. I mean, I would probably rank Colorado right now as a better team if they play today.
I think
that's what I'm saying. They're going to go from unranked, beating a number 17 team.
They're not going to jump into the teens. I think they'll get into the 20s.
Into like the mid-20s?
Yeah. Maybe they may go 20.
I think what Jim said, if they're 3-0 going to Oregon, I think they're going to be ranked number 12 or 13 in the country. I think so. If they're impressive enough, they'll get in the top 15.
So, yeah, I mean, look, they didn't even get no one believed in it. But, I mean, if you look at the teams that went through it, Tulane will move up. You know, Oklahoma was 20. North Carolina was 20. I mean, you know, the shift will be at the top because LSU is going to drop. Florida State will probably go 5. It'll go Georgia. It might go Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State.
TCU falls all the way out of the top 25 at 0-1. TCU. They were 17.
They'll probably drop out. They'll probably fall out. They lost. Yeah, they'll fall out.
They lost to an unranked team.
Yeah, so
there were no real big upsets in the top 25. I wouldn't say Florida State
outside of the Colorado game, right?
Outside the Colorado game, it was ranked versus ranked. So I mean, the LSU and Florida State fans going into last night's game neither one were comfortable if they picked their team to win. Neither were confident in that because you didn't know what to expect. Look, I'll say this. I know you're going to probably get into that game later, but Jordan Travis had a heck of a game. The turning point for me was the second half. 31 unanswered points. The defense played well. They score on the 4th and 2. Then they get the interception and go up, and that's the game. Look, LSU's got some problems. They got to work some things out. Again, I'm not going to not say they can't win the SEC because, look, Alabama and Georgia beat up on nobodies. Oregon beat up on nobody. Oklahoma beat up on nobody. So, again, we'll see when the push comes to shove and we really see these teams play each other. I want to see what happens because, look, again, Notre Dame beat up on Navy and then they beat a nobody. Like, come on, like this is ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Oklahoma beats Arkansas State 73-0. Like, okay, big deal. Like, who cares? Like, Ole Miss 73-7 over Mercer, big deal. Oregon 81-7 over Portland State. Like, dude, like, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Big deal. I was very shocked that Boise didn't put up more of a fight against Washington, but Michael Penix Jr. is the real deal. Look, like Notre Dame against Tennessee State 56-3. Okay, like, who cares? You know, look, the fact that Wisconsin won 38-17 over Buffalo, new look offense, Luke Fickell there. They're not running the ball as much. They still can do it, but they spread them out of the shotgun. Wisconsin's going to be a different team. Again, USC's defense played better, but it's Nevada. Again, you just go through these scores, and it's just like, okay, big deal. You know, Penn State gets a nice win over West Virginia, but, you know, and North Carolina beat South Carolina. I mean, people thought maybe South Carolina give them a run, and North Carolina's defense for the first time in a couple years is actually looking good. So if that's going to be the case the rest of the season, maybe North Carolina sneaks into the ACC title game.
Clemson's in a dogfight right now, Jim. I mean, it's 7-6 still here.
Cade Klubnik, I mean, that's going to be the key for him. I mean, for that team is Cade Klubnik. I mean, DJ Uiagalelei is out in Oregon State. He had a nice game against San Jose State, and it's all Klubnik and the new look offense to see what they can do. Again, it's the first game, but Duke's a good team because Duke's bringing back their entire team from last year. They had 9 wins last season. They're not going to surprise anybody. I'm not really shocked this isn't a dogfight because Clemson, like Alabama, has trouble on the road. and they're a better home team.
Well, here's a caveat to the game tonight was, well, Duke didn't beat anybody last year. Yeah, but they won 9 games. So what? So what? They didn't beat anybody last year. They won 9 games, okay? Clemson's not going to go in with the new offensive coordinator, a fairly, say, new quarterback, even though he's not. He finished the year out with them. Clemson's not going to blow out Duke tonight. It's at Duke.
No.
It's Duke's, quote-unquote, say, Super Bowl, because they're playing a primetime Monday night game, have the stage all to themselves. It is playing Clemson, who's a top 10 team. There's no way.
This was one of my games of week 1 to watch because I liked what Duke brought to the table.
Right, I do too. I mean,
is this the end of the Dabo's run? Like, you know what I mean? Now we're like kind of here towards the end. Like Clemson had a run, right? When Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson. They had a run where they were one of the best teams in the nation. Where'd they go to 2-3 national title games and won 1 or 2 of them?
They won 2 of them because it was like Alabama, Clemson, Alabama. Like it went flip flop. Like,
yeah. So like, are they done? Like, is that run over now?
It depends on what Florida State does this year. Again, they beat a good LSU team. They made a statement. I want to see what they do when they go to Death Valley in a couple weeks. If Florida State's because Florida State's going to have to beat Clemson twice to win the ACC.
Yep.
But like I said the other night, Florida State's doing things the right way. They had a build up through COVID. They haven't really been talking much, unlike the guys down in Miami. All they do is talk. They're like, yo, we're back. Like Texas, yo, we back. You ain't back. You haven't won nothing. Like they haven't.
I'm about to say, real Miami Hurricane fans are not talking any kind of shit about being back. You ain't back until you win a title. You ain't back until you win a title.
Hurricane fans are the Cowboys of college football, Johnny. Hurricane
fans
they
are just like Yankee fans and all that shit. It's
Texas
all good,
fans,
but no,
like Longhorn Joe, we're back.
You are not back until you win a chip. Otherwise, you shut up.
But Florida State is building things the right way, and they got a nice team. They got a nice recruiting class. Things are coming together for them.
Yep.
If they can beat Clemson twice, it's theirs title to the ACC title to take. And you know what? If they somehow have 1 loss, maybe no losses, maybe they're in the talk for the playoff. We know next year they will. I mean, next year they're already talking about blowing up the system already because there ain't going to be no conference. There's going to be like no Pac-12. So how can we have all these automatic bids when one conference only has 2 teams?
Who is the team this week, Jim, that lost?
Scott's got some. Oh, right.
That played so that you're not worried about after this week.
Ohio State. Overreaction Monday. Yes, their quarterback didn't play great. They have a new quarterback. Ryan Day's there.
Yep.
They played Indiana, and they always, for some reason, when Ohio State goes into Indiana, they always have problems. They always start off slow. Indiana gives them problems. Again, they started off with a Big Ten game. Usually they beat up on some team to get ready at home.
Yeah.
They go into Indiana, that's a tough place to play. Yes, they win, but they always struggle out of the gate. I'm not worried about it at all. Oh, by the way, caveat with the ACC is they're like the Big 12 this year. There's no more divisions. So their conference games matter up and down. So that's why I'm saying, Florida State can run the table in their conference schedule. They're going to be a machine. But yeah, I mean, look, Ohio State, I'm not worried about. I think, like I said, I think the Notre Dame train is way too hyped. I will not look. They beat 2 nobodies, and again, a good Sam Hartman, great quarterback. He's playing well. Fine. You beat up on Tennessee State and Navy. Like if they did, like, say they did that to Clemson and like USC, okay, then we're talking. Okay, then we're gonna talk. But we beat up on a couple of cupcake schools. Like, let's be honest, they're just trying to get a paycheck. Though I will throw out Fresno State, Texas State, nice wins. Texas State first ever FBS win since moving up to that level over Baylor, so that was a nice win. Yep. Fresno State goes into Purdue. That was a nice victory for them.
Nice. Welcome, Sam.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Yo, Vols had a nice victory.
Tell your son Ben that you got responsibilities at 9 o'clock on Monday and on Thursday.
My phone was vibrating against my face on the couch. Like, no joke. It was like, and I was like, stand up, and you look at it, and I look over at Ben, who's like, passed out, and I'm like, you stay there. You stay that way. And I just stumbled downstairs to hop
Jim,
on.
Scott's got 3 games to pick for you this.
All right. What do we got
Saturday,
for this
and then we'll
week?
talk about the U.S. Open.
So let's go Boston. No, I'm not going Boston. Let's go with the Alabama. No, let's go with Georgia. What do you think about Georgia coming up this week?
They play Ball State. They're going to kill them.
Right.
They're not going to cover 42.5, though.
You don't think so?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the line right now.
Yeah.
Well, at least they won't cover that first. Maybe they won't cover the first half line, but they may put up
42.5.
Yeah.
They could cover it.
I mean, they could cover it. I
Yeah.
mean, they got a new quarterback. Carson Beck looked good. The Bulldogs, I mean, again, you look at their schedule, though. I mean, look, at least the Texas-Alabama game is still on the schedule. But if they had Oklahoma on the schedule this year, man, that would have been a game I would love to see. I don't know if this is on the schedule, but I'm taking Alabama in the rematch at home. Nick Saban at home. Got a year to prep for this game. It's not on the road. I've always said this. Alabama, for some reason, struggles on the road. They play a closer game than they need to. When they're in Tuscaloosa, they have the crowd. Nick Saban and Alabama beating up on Texas this week.
Well, all right. That was the joke.
What about Ole Miss?
Notre Dame, NC State.
That's
NC State just lost to UConn. Notre Dame is much overrated. They're going to NC State.
Tough game for Sam Hartman, because I believe when he was in ACC, that's the team he couldn't beat. That's going to be a tough game. I think Notre Dame wins. It's going to be a close one, but I think Notre Dame goes to 3-0.
What about Nebraska, Colorado? I mean, I know Nebraska is a slow down team, very slow on offense. They blew a game against Minnesota. They had no shot, no way of reasoning of blowing.
Well, mock headline. New coach, same old story. They can't hold a lead. I mean, Matt Rule. I mean, they just can't finish. 10-3. I mean, it's typical Big Ten game. I mean, just nothing but ground and pound, ugly football. But I mean, that's what the Big Ten is. It's just they don't air it out. Those two teams just don't air it out. And Minnesota comes back. PJ Fleck rows that boat, gets that victory. I like Colorado. I like Colorado going.
I do too.
At home, I believe that game's at home against Nebraska. Their home opener.
I do too.
Yep.
I think Colorado's going to win at home. I think Deion gets his first home win in Colorado. I know Nebraska's going to want to come in and stop this thing, but the way Sanders and Hunter and all those guys, I know Nebraska's going to slow some things down. But if Colorado gets that offense going like it is, again, they're going to have to play much better defensively because Nebraska's no slouch. But I'm going to take the Buffs at home.
And I'll give you Nick's
used to be open
game of interest
championship game
is Iowa State. Do you see any way either team scores 20 points?
I'll take the under no matter what you do.
That's what I'm saying. It's at Iowa State. Iowa wants to play slow down defense, 14-10 type of game.
You want to talk about slow it down style? Jesus, I mean.
Yeah,
the tight end machine is alive.
The difference is with Iowa this year is they got Cade McNamara, the former Michigan quarterback. That at least they could throw the ball this year.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's always tough to go. It's always tough to go into Iowa State. Iowa State's known to pull those upsets. The Cyclones are going to be up for this game. Yeah. I would not be shocked if Iowa State wins this game.
The last one, Jim, I wanted to ask you about is UAB, Ole Miss, 2 ranked teams. One of the few ranked games, where 2 teams are ranked.
Is it? No, it's Tulane and Ole Miss.
Oh, Tulane, not UAB. Yeah, sorry, Tulane and Ole Miss.
That's going to be a fun game. I mean, we saw what Tulane did Last year, the USC in a Cotton Bowl, I know guys don't play, but still, they beat a very good USC team. We got, I was about to say, Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss squad coming in, again, who they beat last week. But Tulane had a nice victory, actually, last week. Being ranked for the first time, I think they'll go up a little bit. Hey, I'll take Tulane, the green wave at home against Ole Miss. Why not, right? Call for the upset there. I mean, they beat a good South Alabama team. Again, that I like that game. I think you know what? Yeah, Ole Miss beat up on Mercer. Come on. It's really. I think Tulane's gonna give Ole Miss a trouble, and I think the Green Wave are gonna win this game.
Do we have a spread for that out there, people?
Yes, they
Tulane and
do.
yeah.
Ole Miss is favored by 7 points on the road.
How much of a beatdown is Alabama going to give to Texas this week?
I mean,
bad.
I think
It's
pretty
at
bad.
Alabama. It's Steve Sarkisian's return there.
But we already know Nick Saban's record against.
Didn't Texas beat them last year?
No, they did not. Alabama.
It was a close game, though, right?
120.
Oh yeah, Ewers got hurt in the game.
Ewers got hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he is gonna be the difference maker in this one. But look, I know Alabama's got different quarterbacks and stuff. I know Sark's talking a good game, understanding what they have to do to prep, and Nick Saban's the best prep guy. Said it before. Alabama at home, they're a different team than they are on the road. This is actually a true home game, and I just don't see Texas winning this game. I really don't.
Yeah, I think Texas is a little bit more overrated than people think. I don't see
Texas winning the Big 12. I don't think so. Everybody's like, "Oh, Texas is going to win the Big 12." Do you not realize Kansas State's still in the conference?
Yeah, and then next year they go to SEC and battle all these teams.
Well, and this is the big thing for me, right? You guys like Oklahoma, Texas, Oregon, California. These guys were brand names in their own conference. Do you really want to become Nebraska?
Yeah, exactly. Jim, you've been tweeting all weekend about how good the men are killing it at the U.S. Open. What's happening in the U.S. Open outside of Djokovic probably still winning this motherfucker, huh?
So Djokovic, Alcaraz on a collision, both in the quarters. But give it up, American men tennis for the first time since 2005. 3 American men going to be in the quarterfinals. Guaranteed at least one makes the semis because Tiafoe plays Ben Shelton. Remember, Tiafoe was a semifinalist last year, lost that 5-setter to Alcaraz. Then Alcaraz won the title. If Sinner beats Zverev tonight, then we get the rematch Wednesday of that epic quarterfinal from last year, which was awesome. But look, Fritz, does he have a shot against Djokovic? Sure he does. Will he win? Probably not, but you never know because then you're guaranteed if you know you're going to have one American male in the semis. If Fritz somehow wins, then you're guaranteed a male American man on Sunday, and then anything can happen. Look, the last time this happened, Agassi went to the final, lost to Federer. That was a crazy 4-set match. There were chances where Andre could have won that match. Then Roddick, again, the whole thing is about Roddick having, American male has not won since 2003. This whole story. Look, it's gonna be fun. Maybe Tiafoe's the guy that does it. Maybe somebody else gets there. Everybody wants Djokovic Alcaraz Sunday, but a part of me really wants to see this streak come to an end because American men's tennis is on the rise. I know we all talk about the ladies and what they're doing. 5 Americans left, but finally we're getting something from the American men at the home slam, right? Like it's about time. It really is. Like guys make they get 4th round, okay, great. No, now we're pushing, and if Tiafoe can get it back to back-to-back semis, that's going to be huge, and it just shows that they can get it done. And well, maybe they can. Maybe this is the year. You never say never, right?
True.
So here's the deal. So I go out to Vegas every week for the last 5 years. NFL Week 1. Do you know there's more U.S. Open tennis bet than NFL bets?
Yeah.
Everybody in the bars that I go to with a buddy of mine who I'm out in Vegas with, everybody is watching the U.S. Open tennis intently. They're all talking about the bets they made, everything else. That's a huge.
Yeah, because you can bet like each set,
Yep.
what the points are, how many sets so and so is going to win on.
over under
It's
games and stuff
ridiculous.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, week 1 in the NFL has to be one of the hardest weeks to predict. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who's going to play as well as they did the season before. You got coaches like a Belichick and stuff like that have all off season to prepare for that one game. So I don't know. In my opinion, I would think week 1 of the NFL season is probably one of the hardest ones to.
Oh, absolutely. I would think so too. I would think so.
Yeah. So why not jump on some tennis?
Yeah,
jump on tennis, jump on college football.
Jim, when is before we get you out of here, Jim? When's the hockey training camp start?
Training camp starts September 20th. We got the rookie tournaments coming up the weekend before. The guys are coming in. Phil Kessel's still out there. He says he's willing to end his Ironman streak to continue playing. Trevor Zegras is an RFA. He's looking for a new deal, extension, probably be a bridge deal, probably 2-3 year bridge, a couple million, maybe 5, I expect. And then he'll hit his next payday. Elias Lindholm in Calgary is willing to stay. Again, they haven't talked extension. They'll probably get to that in a little bit. But, just a lot of Elias Pettersson wants to play out the season, not really talking about extension talk. Same with Nylander in Toronto. He just wants to play it out. He doesn't understand why people make it a big deal. Sheldon Keefe gets a 2-year deal with the Maple Leafs to, see if they actually can, make a Stanley Cup final, maybe. Who knows? But, yeah, I mean, things are starting to come together. Everybody's going to get back after this weekend. Things are going to ramp up a little bit more on the Scheifele's, on the Hellebucks, and, maybe they can get a deal swindled beforehand. I mean, the Bruins are talking about centers. Maybe Kessel goes back to Boston. Maybe they figure out a way to get Scheifele. It's going to be interesting. I mean, how funny would it be if Lucic and Kessel go back in the same year to Boston, right, Scott?
Would that be a turn back the clock type of thing? And the way Kessel left here in Boston, I don't know, and the same management's in place, Sweeney and Canby and all them. I don't know how they would welcome him back with open arms, or how he would feel about if the Bruins make him an offer that he loves a lot, him saying, okay, I'll forget what happened at the end in Boston and I'll go back and I'll play for them. I don't know how it's going to work out. But.
It would be funny. And then obviously Jake DeBrusk is talking like he wants to sign an extension now in Boston, which is good because they're going to need him going forward, especially with no depth down the middle. So a lot of things to keep an eye on. Training camp's right around the corner, which is a good thing. Storylines to get to. Obviously, the big one for me obviously you lump all those Bostons, Washington, Pittsburghs, all those guys together. Who's making it? Who doesn't? Guys, scoring records. Can McDavid do 150 again? Can we have another defenseman go over the 100-point mark? All this kind of fun stuff to look at. But, hockey season's right around the corner. Big weekend of wrestling was done because, everybody said LA Knight on Saturday night because he gets another big win over the Miz. That was big for him. The train continues to go for him. So a lot of things going.
The Cedar Rub.
Yeah, he got the
Cedar Rub. Yep. So I mean, hey, give me that feud. Give me that one for one, like a pay-per-view one-off. Like then he can beat him 1, 2, 3 in the ring. Like that would be great too. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things going on. College football always rolling. Can't wait. Firing up. Great guests on the podcast as always. So a lot of information going to be coming your way.
Jim, I want your pick for Thursday night's game. KC is
6.5
minus 6.5
against who?
Detroit. Yeah, I'm gonna keep track of you and Jonathan all season on the Thursday night games.
Oh man.
Well, Jonathan's not going to know because the Saints aren't playing Thursday night, so he's out.
he's out. Yeah, he don't care.
He's also in mourning for his Tigers, so
yeah. We'll get to him in a few minutes.
Man.
Nick is lucky.
You want to say KC, but you don't know what the hell Detroit's going to look like.
History says the Super Bowl champ does not do good in the opening game. when they raise that banner. If the stats don't lie.
So you take.
But I'm gonna be safe and pick Kansas City because I just don't think Detroit can beat them. I want to buy into Detroit, but I can't.
All right.
Like anybody,
Hey, Jim.
like anybody else, I would have been like, yeah, I'll pick. Like, say it was Buffalo or Cincinnati, I'd be like, yeah, 100. I could pick that team easily. Detroit, no chance.
Nobody blames you, bro. Nobody blames you.
Hey, yeah, we can't. Hey, sometimes we got to see it to believe it. And when it comes to Detroit, but we believe in you, Jim. Thank you for your time and effort every Monday night, brother. We appreciate you. You're savant, having ass, knowing everything about everything. We'll catch you, Jim, next Monday night. Love you, brother. See ya.
All right, Jim.
Love you, boys. Always a pleasure here on a Monday. Close out the day. Happy Labor Day, everybody. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Yes, the savant. Your boy here with the Monday Night Maniacs. Guys, love you and God bless and hope everybody has a great week. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, bud. Be safe.
Peace.
See you next Monday, Jim.
Savant.
Jim's on the.
Are we just gonna go ahead and just throw on Jonathan now?
Yeah, hey, let's give him a good proper introduction.
Yeah.
This guy woke up. Hey, this guy woke up Sunday. I know he was feeling himself. His Braves were up 2-0 on the Dodgers. Oh, and then he thought, LSU, Florida State. On Monday, I am feeling it. LSU, Florida State. I can't wait to sit down and watch them on Monday or on Sunday night. Oh, I can't wait. And then his Braves lose. There's a red flag right there. And then it's a close game at halftime. And then LSU decides not to show up in the second half, and they get blown the fuck out. We had to make an emergency call to make sure he wasn't on the suicide watch. Welcome to the show, none other than Jonathan Grisham.
Yeah, Jonathan. I'm not him.
Jonathan, what's up, my man? How panic mode and suicide watch are we right now?
Well, hey, first off, I'm wearing my Arsenal shirt tonight because we did get a big win against Manchester.
Oh, hey, I know LSU, huh? No, all of a sudden, no LSU, no Atlanta Braves talk here.
Hold on. Second off, we took 3 of 4 against the Dodgers. It was a 4-game series. We took 3 of 4.
Right? Okay.
So that looks a lot better as well on that side of it. The LSU one, hey, I'm here to face you guys. I'm not hiding. Just like with the Cubs beat the Braves earlier this summer. I came back. All right.
You did hide. You went to another country. That's how bad you hit. Don't tell me you're
there. I was already in that.
Nowhere to be found for 2 weeks.
I came back to face you.
Yeah, sure. You don't got to lie to me.
But here's the thing: my Braves have still been winning, and your Cubs are on the cusp of a wild card. There's a little bit of a difference in who we are. All right,
we're 7-3 our last 10. 7-3 of our last 10.
We're 8-2 in our last 10, but we're the best team in baseball. You are sitting at the kiddie table of Major League Baseball right now. All right,
I give you that. We did give our power ranking. We did give our power rankings, and it was a clean sweep, Braves across the board yesterday. Please check out that show if you want.
You're all smart gentlemen, so of course it would be that Braves be the top team in all of baseball right now. In
smart and gentlemen.
But hey, I got to wear my Arsenal shirt.
Well, I don't know about don't include smart in this group.
That's it. I got to represent my Gunners for the big win against Manchester United yesterday. I was very hyped for that in the morning. It started off my morning really well. Yes, the afternoon didn't get any better for me with the Braves losing and not getting a sweep against the Dodgers. And then my night was completely ruined with LSU absolutely not showing up in the second half. I guess we forgot that a football game is 60 minutes and not 30 minutes. And I'm not happy with a lot of things that I saw in that game, but I digress on that side of it. But I'm here to face the music that, we lost and we got our ass kicked on the process.
Exactly. What the hell happened in that second half? Chip Kelly said we didn't execute. The whole team needs to be executed. So are there any players left in LSU? Because did he go out and execute them all?
I'll say Chip Kelly.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly, Chip Kelly, whichever one.
I mean,
One of them Kelly
Sports
brothers.
show. This is a sports show, everybody.
they coach very similar in big games, I guess. But I mean, I'll say this: one thing that stood out with me again, our offense was well. I don't like that we went for it on fourth down twice early in the ball game. You need points, and I get the analytics. Here's one thing, and I've talked to you guys about analytics in baseball, and I'll speak about this in football. Analytics only tell us one side of a story, that the higher percentage of analytics on fourth down says you should go for it. We're not taking into consideration the percentage that says it's a bad idea to go for it, and then if you fail in that percentage, because I'm going to quote the great Dumb and Dumber, even if there's 5%, 3%, doesn't matter. There's
So
still
you're saying there's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance that you're going to get stopped. And then my question to
Tell me there's a chance.
My question to the analytical people is this: then, if you fail on that fourth down, what the analytics say is a percentage that you give up a touchdown on that next drive? Because the momentum, analytics doesn't take into consideration momentum. Momentum is a real thing, though, and you gave Florida State hope and momentum every time you got stopped on fourth down, and the percentages basically swung in their direction. That's why I don't like people relying on analytics in sports. Analytics is a tool that you utilize, but you don't make your decisions, every decision, on the tool that is there for analytics. Today's sports people think they're so smart. Instead of just trusting their gut of what their experience has been, you take points. You kick a field goal. You may keep momentum a little bit more on your side in that aspect of you don't play around with points. And we played around with it, and we died by it. If it's 20-14 at halftime, that might be a little bit different swing of momentum in your favor going into the second half instead of a tie ball game. So that was something I just didn't like, that we gave points up to try to go for the kill shot in the first quarter. You can't kill a team in the first quarter. You still got to play 4 quarters. So that was one thing. The other thing I got to ask is, what are we doing with Harold Perkins? Harold Perkins is one of the most talented defensive players in the country. We're comparing him to Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons, for the Dallas Cowboys, he rushes the passer just about every play, and they mix him into an off-ball linebacker, but they use him to rush the passer. We turned the most dynamic pass rusher in college football into an off-ball linebacker, thinking he's the next Ray Lewis. He's not. He looked completely uncomfortable, and it showed that he has no idea what he's doing, and you allow Jordan Travis to absolutely tear you apart in every aspect. I think it was a horrible game plan of what they're trying to do with Harold Perkins. Make him a pass rusher. He is one of the most talented pass rushers in the country. Use him the right way. If you continue down this road, this defense is going to get torched because there's not a lot of the outside. You can't, with the cornerbacks and safeties we have, we're not that good. So you got to find ways to rush the passer, and your best pass rusher cannot be an off-the-ball linebacker playing coverage.
What the loss for LSU did last night is basically they got to run the table to make the playoff now. And they still got to play Alabama, and I think they still got Tennessee on their schedule. So it's going to be really difficult for them to be able to get into the playoff because of people will look at them and say they can't play in big games. They fail in big games miserably. So that's the whole thing about what last night did was people are going to look, the playoff committee is going to look and say LSU's not going to get there. They got 2 losses. When you have 2 losses in this playoff era, you're basically not going to make it to the playoffs.
So fortunately, we don't have Tennessee in our schedule this year.
Okay.
In the East, we have our annual game of Florida. We're playing Missouri. We played Missouri, and we play. Is it Kentucky? Did I see Kentucky?
I think Kentucky's on the schedule. I think I saw it real quick today. So
Did you say like Tennessee, like we're a team to beat? Oh God, it's been so long.
No, but Tennessee is good. I mean, look what they did.
He was dismissing you, Sam. He was dismissing
Oh,
Tennessee.
okay.
He said,
See, that makes
Tennessee.
sense. That makes sense.
But LSU was on that cusp. 4 teams make the playoff, and LSU was on that cusp of making it. Now with that loss last night, they almost have to run the table in order to get into the playoff now.
You got to run the table, and you need some help in the process because you cannot get blown out by 20 points on national TV and expect yourself to be a college football playoff team. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. I don't even want to talk about playoff right now until I can see that the defense can stop people and the offense can actually continue the trend that they did in the first quarter. They were moving the ball all over Florida State, and all of a sudden they stopped. So I don't even want to talk about playoff right now. Can we beat Auburn?
Playoffs?
Can we beat Mississippi State? Can we beat these? I want to see can we beat those teams first before we talk about Alabama, before we talk about Texas A&M, before we talk about anybody else that's a quality opponent on our schedule. Can we beat the medium teams, not the mid-level SEC teams? That's what I'm more worried about right now.
Old Miss, you got the only two. You got Old Miss coming to. You got to go to Old Miss at the end of this month. You do got the Alabama game. Outside of that, it's not a whole lot. You could run the table if you could get past Old Miss.
That's the one advantage of being in the SEC, and it was a non-conference game that you lost to a highly ranked FSU team. Well, and if they do run the table, they'll be in the SEC title game. I mean, LSU is still a good team.
Alabama. That's the
key. They got to beat Alabama, but
Alabama.
It's not like LSU can't run the table.
Yeah, but they're not. I'm just saying. They lose to Alabama, they're out of the playoff mix. They're out of it because it's 2 losses. So what last night did in a highly ranked, anticipated game was basically not show up in the second half. And people look at that and say, all right, let's put a 1-loss LSU up against a 1-loss Alabama. Who do we want to put in the playoff? It would be Alabama because of the cachet that they have.
Like I said, what worries me is our secondary. Our secondary got absolutely torched. And I mean, they were, again, Florida State has some weapons. Keon Coleman, that's a dude. He's going to be a first-round pick in the draft. He'd be a top 10 pick for sure. I think he went off. He absolutely went off. And you're going to face guys that are like that in the SEC. So that concerns me. That's why I said obviously we get Mason Smith back, who's going to be he's our best interior lineman. That'll help. But nothing's going to matter if you don't use Harold Perkins correctly on this defense and have him pass rush. Like that was exposed. We just got exposed that we have no idea what we're doing when it's utilizing your best athlete, your best defensive player, and we use them incorrectly. No, that's not gonna work. Not in the SEC. You got, especially with the secondary, you got to use them right and rush the passer.
And Jonathan, did you hear the story that Brian Kelly was desperately trying to schedule a week 0 game so he'd have Mason Smith for that game last night?
Yeah,
and that's how important he knows he is in the interior line.
Oh yeah, Mason Smith, he'll be a first-round pick, and he didn't play at all last year. Mason Smith, that is the next great D tackle from LSU who will be a first-round pick. Mason Smith was just he was this. I know he only played 1 series last year against Florida State, and they couldn't block him in that game. That was a big difference changer when he tore his ACL against Florida State. And he was tough to block in that one. So yes, you get him back, which is great. It sucked we didn't get him, and it's the NCAA's stupid, NIL. Well, can't grandfather you in, so you broke a rule that is no longer a rule. Therefore, we're going to punish you for that rule. It's nonsense in itself. But I mean, it tried, and obviously it didn't work, and he had to be suspended for the game. And it's where we're at with it. I don't think that was the big difference maker. Because again, no matter if you had Mason right there or not, Mason's not covering the receivers. He's not covering Keon Coleman. He's not covering, those guys. So I don't think Mason Smith would have been the big deciding factor. It would have helped for sure. But we got bullied. We absolutely our secondary got bullied last night, and it was not fun. It was not pretty to watch.
And Nick, speaking of not playing well, Clemson just missed a 20-yard field goal. 20-yard field goal. They just
I think shanked 13. Well, they were on the 2-yard line and they had a false start. So Clemson's on upset alert here. It's 13-7. Dukies. Yep. Jonathan, we'll switch to some baseball to make your heart a little happier, so you're not living in the sorrow from last night. You mentioned at the top, Braves take 3 of 4. Preview of the NLCS. Do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they're the 2 best teams in the National League. I do have to say, again, Philadelphia worries me, whether it's us playing them or the Dodgers playing them. That is a team that will be a disruptor in the NL playoffs. But I think that it'll be Braves and Dodgers when it's all said and done in the NLCS. I will say, I would be a little bit concerned right now if I'm a Dodgers fan, not because, and I'll throw this out there, not because of the games itself that took place between LA and Atlanta. Julio Urias got arrested today. What's his availability?
Yeah, he's done.
What's his availability?
He's done.
And you're talking about a rotation that doesn't have great depth with Tony Gonsolin out right now out for the season. Walker Buehler, we don't know when he's going to be making a return, if he's going to make a return this season. You're going to rely on a 35, 36-year-old Clayton Kershaw, who is pitching fantastic. I love Clayton. I'm so happy that he is pitching still dominantly as he is, except when he faces my Braves. But you don't have the pitching in this series this past weekend. The depth was exposed. Dodgers don't have great starting pitching depth. Lance Lynn got teed off on by the Braves. That was your big acquisition you brought in at the deadline, and he did not survive really well. He hung in there for a little bit, but he did not survive very well against Atlanta. You had a couple rookies to be able to go. Urias went and he got teed off on, but if he's out because of this potential situation, this allegation, I don't know how the Dodgers survive in the NLDS, with the pitching that they don't have. But talent-wise,
I don't see Urias coming back this season, Jonathan. I just don't, because like the way they have done this, the way that we've seen these situations go, Bauer. A similar situation. We've never seen him in the MLB ever again. He was proven innocent.
That one, I will say I agree on that. Unfortunately, because he was proven innocent, that was more of teams just didn't like him. And that's unfortunate because that just shouldn't be. If he was found innocent, he should be back in baseball in MLB. But I digress on that one. But yeah, the situation is it's always taken seriously. Major League Baseball has really put an emphasis on taking this seriously, of putting a player on the restricted list and letting the investigation take place with him not playing. That might be the road that they end up taking in this direction, which takes Urias out off the Dodgers, and they're going to scramble to find an arm right now. And again, I would not be confident if I'm the Dodgers going against a Brewers team. Let's just put the Brewers, I know it probably hurts your heart, Nick, to hear Brewers, going to that point. But Brewers going and facing the Dodgers, the way the Brewers pitch, I would be a little bit nervous if I'm a Dodgers fan. But again, if you talk about just straight talent-wise of what we've seen out of the Dodgers and Braves, yeah, those are the two best teams. That's the expected NLCS. I hope for it because I hate the Dodgers, and I would love nothing more than to eliminate them in the NLCS, to watch the Braves celebrate another World Series opportunity. It was so much fun in 2021. Let's do it again in 2023. But there's some question marks. There's definitely question marks around the Dodgers right now that I don't know how confident I am going into the last month right now with the depth that they don't have in pitching, that they could make a run into the NLCS and potentially challenge the Braves. I don't know.
So Jonathan, in the National League, do you see the Final Four as Braves, Dodgers, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, with maybe the Cubs breaking it up from Milwaukee and Philadelphia? Do you think that's the division NLDS for
I do.
Four?
I do, just because I think Cubs pitching is still a question mark a little bit more. And again, it goes to the same thing I've said with you guys on Mondays is what I said with Alan and Scott on Tuesdays.
Yep.
The dynamic of how the postseason is going to be, which we've always seen it and always know it to be, pitching matters most. With the era that we are starting out in 2023 of how important offense has become and how imperative offense is, does it translate into postseason baseball? That's the dynamic that I want to find out, because if offense matters more, Cubs have a chance. I will put the Cubs over, have a chance to be disruptive here. Pitching, if it's pitching, I don't know, because I don't have a lot of faith in
our pitching. Hold on, I was going to ask this question. Two things. I was going to ask this question because Scott put money on it. Justin Steele could be the NL Cy Young. He's now tied for wins and second in ERA. So we got a guy, Jonathan. Plus we have these two young rookies who are pitching really well. Our bullpen let us down in the Red Series when they pitched great. But hey, nonetheless, we got three really good young kids.
Do you really want to trust rookies to the first postseason appearance? Trust rookies?
I'll trust Justin Steele. Is Justin Steele your NL Cy Young winner?
Right now, no. Right now, no. I would go with Strider. I would go with Spencer Strider. He's been doing it all year. Spencer Strider has been doing it all year. He's pitched really well. He's about to closing in on the franchise record for most strikeouts in the season in Atlanta Braves history, breaking John Smoltz record. And he's pretty close still to 300 strikeouts in the season. He's still on pace that he can make that. So there is an opportunity where you can look at it and say, again, how is the voting side of it is always, what do you value most? Do you value the old school stats or do you value the analytic stats? If these old school stats, Strider doesn't stand a chance at that point. The Strider's analytical stats are not great. If you go to the old school stats, Strider's going to be the Cy Young. So again, it's just it's how you view and what you talk about it more. That's the same thing with the MVP right now. If you're looking at the old school stats, Ronald Acuna is your MVP. If you're looking at the new school stats, the analytical stats, Mookie Betts is your MVP. So it's just it all depends on how you want to view it.
MVP is Cody fucking Bellinger, baby. Belly bombs. When the Cubs were 10 games, most valuable player, most valuable to his team is Cody Bellinger. When he was on the DL, the Cubs were 10 games below 500. He comes off the DL, we're 10 games above 500. Cubs been around since the beginning of baseball. This is the first time they've ever done that, been 10 out and then turned to 10 up. Cody Bellinger is your MVP. The most valuable player to his team is Cody fucking Bellinger.
You're not giving the MVP to a guy who may or may not make it a postseason. It's not comparable to Ronald Acuna, who's the founding member of the 30-60s club. And he's on pace to do 40-70.
The most valuable player on his team.
No. That's not the award. He can be the MVP of the Chicago Cubs, but the MVP is the most valuable player.
It's MVP of the team.
Is the most valuable player in the league.
You take Cody Bellinger out of the.
Who's the best player?
But here's the thing: we've seen.
It's not Bellinger.
Shohei Ohtani.
Right now, I'm going Acuna. Right now, I'm going to Ronald Acuna. He's the best player. He's been doing it all year.
I like Acuna. I do. I think Acuna's probably going to be MVP, but I think if you took, we've seen the Cubs without Cody Bellinger. They were dog shit. Absolute dog shit. We've seen the Braves be okay without Ronald Acuna. We've seen the Dodgers be okay without Mookie Betts.
We had to acquire 4 outfielders to replace Ronald Acuna in 2021. We still seen it.
Well, here's how Vegas
we
has
still
the
seen
MVP.
it.
They have Acuna at minus 210, Betts at plus 140, Freeman at plus 3,500, Matt Olson plus 15,000. Cody Bellinger is in back of Luis Arias right now.
Jesus.
MVP at 20,000.
They're not watching the Cubs, Scott. They're not watching the Cubs.
Nobody's watching the Cubs because, again, they're a wild card team. We had a chance to watch the 2 best teams in baseball, and it was the Braves versus. And Braves were just up here, and the Dodgers were way down here. Give it. It's the award is Acuna's. All right, it is. I look. If you ask me, Spencer Strider, in my opinion, Strider is the Cy Young, but I could absolutely see Steele being the Cy Young winner. I absolutely can. All right, just because I think that they're going to be more analytical with those stats, and that does favor Steele over Strider in that aspect of. But Bellinger's not winning the MVP.
Scott could win big here.
He's not winning the MVP. I'm sorry.
I know he's not. You guys. I'm giving you a hard time. You guys know that.
And the AL MVP
I want to ask you about Sam's Gar. It's Shohei all the way.
Yeah.
Right.
I
want to ask about Sam's Guardians real quick, Jonathan.
Why?
They went out and got all the guys off the waivers. They're 6 games back. Why are they going out and getting these guys?
Doesn't cost that much to do so, and if you get lightning in a bottle that they might look at, and you get close, why not? At that point, it doesn't cost you a lot to do it, as far as financially. So, yeah, take a flyer and take a chance. And the worst case is you still finish in 2nd place in the division. Okay, it doesn't hurt them in the process to just see if they can make it work, and if it does, then they look like geniuses that they were able to help out and rediscover something that those guys were missing. And it just proves even more that the people in Anaheim have no idea what they're doing. So you can rub salt in the wound for the Angels and the Angel fan base and the organization at that point. But it doesn't hurt them to take a flyer and bring in three guys that were waived by the Angels. It doesn't hurt them in the process, but it could help them by getting a little bit more depth, and it could help them to win a few games. And if it does, they look like geniuses. So why not? I don't see the problem with that.
Translation, Nick. So you're saying there's a chance.
There you go.
Well, here's my question. Giolito tonight gave up 9 runs in 3 innings. He seems like a pitcher that's fallen off the foot really fast. Is he done? You think he's done after this year? Or you think he's pitching next year?
Jesus,
there's going to be a team that's going to give him a chance, going to give him a small contract, low opportunity, basically coming to spring training and non-guaranteed at this point. And to see you still got guys that do that. Noah Syndergaard continues to get opportunities. Matt Harvey continued to get opportunities at one point. You see guys that had something at one point in their career. If it goes away, they struggle. They still get 2, 3, 4 years of opportunities. Giolito will get a chance. Somebody's going to say, maybe we can fix him. Because we saw the talent of what Lucas Giolito was at one point. Just to say, hey, maybe we can be the ones that fix him. And if they don't, they can cut bait and say it doesn't cost us anything in the long run. So, I mean, why not? I don't think he's completely done just yet. There's been some mechanical issues from Giolito that's just really starting to mess with him mentally. And I think that goes a little bit further. That's a little bit further down in the rabbit hole that he's got to figure out, because he's not looked good at all this season. This has just been atrocious, and it gets worse and worse no matter as he continues to go down this season. So a team that can look at him and say, maybe we can fix him, give him a minor league contract, non-guaranteed contract when it's all said and done, give him a chance in spring training to earn a spot. If he doesn't, they say, hey, we appreciate you, Giolito. If you want to go to AAA, all right, we'll send you to AAA, but this ain't gonna work out. Or if it does work out, they figure out how to fix them and they get another arm out of it. So there's gonna be a team that's still gonna take a flyer just because there'll be a low risk, high reward type of ordeal that they'll do this offseason for them.
Johnny?
Yeah, there's always somebody.
This is how bad the Angels is. They cut all those guys.
They can fix somebody.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Johnny,
I was just saying that there's always those coaches that think that they can fix somebody. Yeah. So he's a pitcher. He's still relatively young. Yeah, he's gonna get more than just one more opportunity. He'll stick around for a little bit unless he completely shits the bed the next couple of seasons. But somebody's always gonna give a young pitcher a chance. You know what I'm saying? They always gonna think that their pitching coach could be the answer to what he needs and stuff like that. So he'll get more opportunities.
Well, we've seen it. He was decent there. I mean, he had a couple years ago was really good. This is how bad the Angels are, though. They waived all those guys to get underneath the threshold. Randall Grichuk doesn't get picked up, so they still got to pay over the luxury tax because nobody picked up Randall Grichuk.
Wow. Ouch.
I mean, like I said, I've said before with you guys and on Tuesdays, the Angels are the worst ran franchise in baseball. They're doing it. They're not doing it on purpose. That's why I said the Oakland A's. I can't say that they're the worst because they're doing it on purpose to be the worst. So I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. The Angels have no clue what they're doing, and that's why they are the worst. And this continues to show. And they're gonna fall into more relevancy after this season anyway. So. I mean, you just gotta laugh.
Is Mike Trout like kicking himself right now? Like, is he saying, "Damn, I should," you know what I'm saying? I should have left 4 or 5 years ago and had an opportunity to win somewhere, man. One playoff series.
I mean, yes and no, because he still has that $300 million contract. He still got paid. I mean,
yeah, true.
I mean, if I had $300 million and, I'm losing, I would just bitch and complain about it to my wife and just be like, this sucks. I hate this, but I'm going to still be looking at everything that I have from $300 million contract. Sure. At the product.
No, that's facts. But would you have already told the Angels ownership, you got to get me up out of here? You're the best player in the world. And again, we've seen one playoff series, bro.
So I think before John answers,
he's never even won a playoff game, I don't think.
That's what I'm saying. He's only been in one series.
I think Trout is going to wait until Shohei's situation settles one way or the other in the offseason before he goes and asks for a trade. If Shohei's back, I don't think he's asking for a trade. If Shohei goes, I think that's when he'll ask for a trade. And I don't know how Jonathan feels about it.
Who's paying that money, Scott? Who's paying that? Who's paying that money for an injury-prone player?
Yankees, Phillies, Red Sox. Braves might not take on the whole thing, but might take on a little if they got anybody in the Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Red Sox, anybody like that
Mets, I guess.
Out on in a minute. In a minute.
To answer the question of it, here's the problem with how baseball. We see this in other sports so much when a player's just not happy with the situation, team's not winning or they're not performing. NBA, they go to the team and say, "I'm done. I don't want to play here anymore. Trade me." Players have the power in the NBA. Players are starting to get a little bit more power in the NFL. The problem with baseball is the contract's fully guaranteed. You don't have a lot of power to sit there and say, "Well, I don't want to be here." The team's going to sit there and say, and there's a little bit more leeway for the teams in MLB where it's say, "You don't play, we can put you on the restricted list at that point, and we can then file a grievance that will prevent you from getting paid." So you're under contract; it's fully guaranteed. You're here to be here until your contract's up, or until we decide to trade you or DFA you at that point. There's not a lot of leeway that the players have in Major League Baseball like they do in the NBA. And I know the NBA players have fully guaranteed contracts, but they have put a system in place that is fully all player power. MLB doesn't have that with the players right now. And again, we're talking about an era of the players' union in Major League Baseball. It's one of the weakest player unions in their history, just because of how things have transpired during the CBA talks and what the owners have been able to gain out of those CBA talks over the last handful of times. This is a weak union that's not protecting players. So you don't have the back, you don't have the stability, and you certainly don't have the strength to actually make a threat. If you're Mike Trout, the threat to say, I'm done. I don't want to be here. I'm not going to play for you anymore. Once you trade me, there's no power for Trout to do that because he's fully guaranteed to get paid. And I don't think Mike Trout is that person anyway. I mean, obviously we've seen it so far that he's been loyal to that franchise from the very beginning. So that's not his character to be able to do that. Now, I agree. If Shohei leaves, I think it's not going to be up to him. It'll be the Angels who says, "All right, yeah, we need to rebuild. We're going to trade Trout. We'll eat money. They're going to have to eat money to trade Mike Trout to a team that wants him, or is going to take a chance on him to where hopefully that he can stay healthy. But they're going to eat money in the process of it, and that's going to be that's the part where if you're the Angels, how much money are you going to want to eat, and how much money are you going to have to take on, or how much money you're going to have to take on to make sure that you get prospects back that makes sense for you. And that's where I kind of look at you talking about the Mets. Mets don't have a lot of top prospects that they're going to want to part with, being that they're in a 3-year. They're starting this offseason in a 3-year rebuild. So that's not going to excite the Angels. The Yankees don't have top players they're going to want to part with for Mike Trout because they're in the same boat with the Mets, that they're hoping this youth movement kind of starts picking steam up. That they're going to start moving some of the older guys out. They don't want to get older. They want to get younger. So I don't see the Yankees want to take that chance. The Phillies, they're in a winning position. I could see Philadelphia taking a flyer to put him not in center field, go put him in left field, where he may protect his body a little bit better, and smaller field in that, so he doesn't have to cover a lot of ground in left field, might be a little bit beneficial for him in that process too. I could see Philadelphia, because it is his hometown, being from the area. I know he's from New Jersey. But he's from the area. It's pretty close to Philadelphia. It's like a homecoming for him. He's a big Philly fan, and we know he's an Eagles fan. So I could see Philadelphia making a play and finding out in what capacity they need to get. If you think about that, you could have Bryce Harper in right field and Mike Trout in left field, the two of the generation superstars that grew up together in Major League Baseball. That would make me a little fearful. That would make me a little fearful for that, which I'll counter, just to kind of throw it out there. If that happens for my Braves, if you have Harper and Trout in the outfield and you have a lot of money still in pocket if you're Atlanta, there is a player who's a free agent that is kind of in the same generational group that Ronald Acuna is, that you could put him at left field. Juan Soto?
Soto.
Juan Soto in left field with Acuna in right.
Oh, God.
But well,
that would be a better version right now than Trout and Harper, honestly.
I don't think Soto's coming to Atlanta because he's going to ask for too much money. I don't think the Braves would even entertain.
I don't think he's earned the contract that he wants.
I agree.
So there's a realization, and there's a realization talking about how Trout wants to win. Soto's made it very clear so far this season what he's experienced in San Diego is not good. It's not fun for him. He wants to win. So could he trade winning for money? Look at Atlanta. If Atlanta makes a play for him and says, "Look, you're not worth $300 million. We'll go to 109. We'll go to 190. Maybe that incentives to push it to $200 million for you, and you get to play left field on the opposite side of Ronald Acuna and right field from there, and you'll get to be in the lineup with Austin Riley, Acuna, Albies, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, Michael Harris. And we'll plug and play you in that lineup from there, and you can go and you'll go win a World Series in Atlanta. I think that means a little bit more to you than the $300 million you think you're going to get, which you're not going to. I think that World Series title means a little bit more to you, and I think it does.
Yeah,
that would be some scary.
That'd be scary. Soto needs Joe Buck screaming that he's only 20 years old again to rotate that money up. Like when the Nats were in the World Series, that was Joe Buck saying, "This kid's only 18 years old. He needs Joe's height to be his hype man again." A year ago, we were talking 300, 400 million for Juan Soto, and now the Padres. I was going to ask you, Jonathan, are they the most disappointing team, or is it the Mets? Or to me, it's got to be a toss up between those two teams and all the money they spent.
I've viewed it in different ways. I think the Mets are the most disappointing based off of what the owner has came out and said this season, that we're going to win a World Series, and we're going to win a World Series within 5 years of me being an owner, and we're going to be competing for a World Series every year. And then they go, "Oh, we're going to be rebuilding in the next 3 years." That's disappointing based off of what the ownership has put his foot in his mouth. Padres, because of the money spent, because of the talent on paper, they're very disappointing because, again, you bought out. You have three guys who are making $300 million, and you have one of the top pitchers in baseball in Snell. You have you've paid and paid and paid, and you can't be above 500. That's disappointing as well. So there's different aspects I look at and say who's the most disappointing based off of the roster on paper. And you can't blame the manager. You got to blame the players in this aspect. You're not as good as you thought y'all were. You're not, the players are not as good as what they thought they were going to be. They never came together and gelled thinking that, if we buy $300 million players, we're going to get this awesome team and we're going to be a World Series contender. That they never came to fruition. So Padres, I would put them up there as probably the top most disappointing team. Right with ahead of the Mets, which again the Mets are disappointing because the owner just spoke out of turn, saying I'm gonna write a check every time to make sure that we win a World Series. Well, that didn't happen. Again, you can go to the Cardinals. The Cardinals, and I know you love to hear that, Nick, that the St. Louis Cardinals are probably one of the most disappointing teams because we had all said at preseason in spring training, we all said that this was the Cardinals' division to win. It was not going to be close. And here we are, they're in last place, and they're just a terrible baseball team. So, again, you can look at it in different ways. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Padres just because on paper how talented that team was. They should not be in this position right now, yet they are.
There will be
Mets going to roll there in San Diego for sure.
Nick, there will be one more team added in a month if things go the way they are now, and that'd be the Texas Rangers in a month. That'd be another disappointment.
I don't know because – I don't know how disappointing because we know once DeGrom got hurt, I know they made the trade for Scherzer, but everybody had the Astros winning that thing, and the Mariners kind of finishing right there up in the preseason. You know what I mean? So they just ran out of steam.
But I will say this: they've been in first place. If they miss the playoffs totally, which is a very real possibility now, because they got blasted by the Astros again today. It's going to be it's a disappointment. It's a total disappointment because they've been in first place the whole season, basically.
That's quite a meltdown right there.
And to miss the playoffs totally after being in first place.
I can't say it's the most disappointing though, just because, and I agree with Alan to an extent of what he said last week with us was there was no expectations to be that first place team in Texas, but you had it. You were a first place team. You had the lead for a while, and you give it away. I won't say that they would be the most disappointing.
No, they won't be the most disappointing, but they'll be up there as a disappointing team.
Yeah.
In terms of
I think you have to. You gotta recalibrate your thinking once you're in first place for that long. I understand that there weren't the expectations, but you were in first place for so long to just kind of give it away towards the end. There is a level of disappointment to that. Yeah, I guess I'm with Jonathan to where San Diego, the Mets coming off a 101 win season last season, and they paid so much money. There's bigger disappointment, St. Louis. Then you know what I'm saying. Then Texas, but that would suck to be in first place for so long, and then just I'd
put the Mets, Padres, Cardinals. I'd put the Yankees. I'm trying to think. There's one more team. Even whoever wins,
even the Guardians. The Guardians should have been a lot better than what they are.
That they would be more of a disappointing team than the Texas Rangers if the Rangers missed the playoffs. If they I won't really call it a collapse. If they blow their lead and miss the playoffs, I would have those teams still ahead of the Texas Rangers as most disappointing. It would be the most disappointing moment. I would say that they blew their opportunity to be a playoff team. But again, you look at the teams that are up there that have just been dumpster fires this season. You can't put a team that was been competing for a division title in the same conversation as Padres, Yankees, Cardinals in that aspect of disappointment.
No, I would put them up there, but I would put the Texas Rangers on the next level. Say, okay, Padres, Mets, Cardinals, maybe Guardians, yes. But then the Rangers on that second level because of the situations panned out all year long.
I don't know. I have a hard time because they have no expectations, and they exceeded expectations for 3/4 of the season, and then they went to where, you know what I mean, water's going to level out, and they leveled out.
Yeah.
Well, that's my question then is, could you put the Astros as that if they're a wild card team, World Series champions? Or if
the season was a disappointment. Yes,
if they missed the playoffs, let's just say if they missed the playoffs as a World Series champion, defending World Series champion, they miss it. Would you put them? I would put that over
Texas,
than over the Rangers if the Rangers missed the playoffs.
That's fair.
Most definitely. I would. Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah. We're in the final month, so we'll figure out who's going to shake it in and out. Before you go, Jonathan, we're going to make our Thursday night picks. Then we'll get you for what's up for Alpha, and then the rest of us will get to our goodbyes here. So let me first announce. So the four of us at Plus Tanner, we are playing for the gold chain. So we're going to be writing down all the picks all week, and at the end of the year, whoever has the most wins. Will be rocking this at their new house. So, Scott, you're going to get a lot of ladies if you win this in the nursing home. I mean, so Scotty will fit right down in there in Tampa Bay, but it's probably going to stay right here at the house,
Yeah.
So,
like I said, Scott's going to. Yeah, and like I said, I'm keeping track of Jim and Jonathan on Monday, so we'll have our Monday night champ as well, as far as the Thursday night games. So I'm gonna keep track of everybody's picks on Monday night for the Thursday night game, so that way we can have our Monday night champ.
Sounds good. I like
it. Tanner's got the Chiefs.
Yeah, Tanner's got the Chiefs.
Hey,
he's taking the Chiefs.
Tanner's got
minus 6.5. Jim Biringer earlier took Kansas City as well, minus 6.5. So Jonathan, what's your pick for Thursday night? Chiefs, Detroit. Chiefs minus 6.5.
I will say this, and I heard Jim say that the home team, the defending Super Bowl champions, actually struggle at home. Now, if I'm trying to go back and say they struggle, but they still win. They still do win. There's a history of that. That being said, I am believing in Dan Campbell lighting caps going and attacking, the dog that's inside that he has inside of him with this group. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to upset the Kansas City Chiefs on opening night in week 1, and putting the on notice, because I've looked at this. This is the year with Aaron Rodgers gone in the of the division. This division is wide open, and I think the Detroit Lions know it. And if they can take down the Kansas City Chiefs in week 1, they put everybody on notice that they are for real to win this division. I think this is a statement opportunity for the Detroit Lions and for Dan Campbell. I'm taking the Detroit Lions to upset the Chiefs on opening night.
I like it.
You have how much?
You got Lions winning outright or just 6.5?
I got them winning outright. Ooh. I got them winning outright.
I mean, we're still giving them the points because that's the way we're playing. But talk about having some oomph with your pick. Well done, John.
Sam, we'll start with you. Chiefs are Detroit here -6.5. Chiefs -6.5.
The dog in me is inspired by Jonathan, and I want to pick the Detroit Lions, but I know Andy Reid has had way too long to prepare for this game. Anytime he gets multiple weeks to prepare for a game, he wins at a high percentage of the time. I'm going Chiefs for this one, but I really want – the dog in me really wants to say Detroit wins by a field goal. That's just my head fighting my gut, but I'll go Chiefs.
Johnny, we'll go with you.
I'm so with you, Sam. Like, I want to pick Detroit.
I really want it. I want it so bad.
I haven't heard that number 15 ain't playing, so I just
I heard he made the team.
I can't bet against that kid. So I'm gonna say Kansas City wins. They probably win by at least 10 points, to be quite honest. It might be close. It might be close in the first half, but I think Kansas City will get it together in the second half, and they'll wind up winning by at least a touchdown. So I'm gonna take Kansas City. As much as I don't want to, but I'm gonna do it.
I understand. I'm
Scott?
the same way, Johnny. I don't want to.
No Chris Jones means that Jared Goff will probably have a clean pocket most of the night. Detroit is a young, hungry team that wants to show the nation that they can be on this stage and can play well. I'm going Detroit plus the 6.5 points, and I'm going over the 54 total. So,
Woo! Wow. I was almost inspired by Jonathan talking about Detroit, but then I remembered this fucking Detroit he's talking about. So I mean,
that's your future champion of the North. That is your future. You might want to get
under Dan Campbell. They struggled the first half of the season, and they turned it on the second half of the season. The last 2 years, I was this close to picking the dogs. But I'm riding with the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs plus 6.5 on Thursday night.
Nice.
Or -6.5. Shit.
I mean,
am I the only one that's going with Detroit? Is Jonathan?
You and Jonathan.
Us baseball show people.
Hey,
We know exactly what's going on.
You got to go with Campbell. You got to go with Dan Campbell and the Lions, because that man actually tried to buy a lion for at the facility. He absolutely 100% tried to get the ownership to go buy a lion for the. You got to love Dan Campbell. I got to go with him. I got to. Hey, get the upset, because Nick, that is your future division champion of your division is the Detroit Lions. Get ready for it.
I did pick him. I picked Detroit, but I'm riding with my Packers, but I did pick Detroit officially on our show.
I would.
If there's any time for Detroit to clip off Kansas City, would be week 1.
I would.
So
I
get it. I get it. I just
kill each other.
Listen, 6.5
It's
is
Detroit,
a lot of 6.5 is a lot of points against a good team. Detroit, no matter what anybody says, they're a good team.
Yeah,
and they have some offensive pieces in Gibbs and Laporta and Amon-Ra to give them problems on defense. And no Chris Jones added on top of that. if Goff has a clean pocket all night long,
I gotta see Goff do it though, man.
I do too.
Prime time, only game on. Everybody's watching. I gotta see Goff do it.
And by the way, Clemson's peeing down their legs. They're down 21-7.
Yes, they are. I'm so mad I couldn't get that bet.
Did you see that?
Man.
Did everybody
I was gonna take Duke outright to win and the under, and I didn't get the damn bet in time.
They've turned the ball over about 3 times and missed a field goal. Clemson has in the red zone. They just fumbled it. Duke almost took it to the house, and Duke scored off of it. Jonathan, before you get out of here, what's Alpha got going on this weekend, brother?
I'll be with my 18U group this weekend at a college showcase. We've had a lot of interest from colleges already the early part of the season with my girls, getting things kind of going with that side. This is the time of the year as the fall's really a hotbed of recruitment. So putting a lot of time and effort to get as much notoriety for these girls as possible. They're going to be in a showcase this weekend. Looking forward to their first showcase of the fall season. My 14U team, they start up their season as well. They get to play and start their and open up this weekend. A little bit of a newer group with a couple of girls that have returned. So we're going to see how a little bit of evaluating what they're able to do. Very exciting to be able to see just how they handle some of the different things that we do in Alpha versus what they're used to. My 16U group this past weekend kind of learned that a little bit, that we do things a little different. It's a little bit faster pace on how we do. We had to slow things down for them, but they see the benefit, and all of our athletes will see the benefit, and especially a lot of the new kids. So we got a lot of. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Again, we're playing ball. We're in action for the fall season. And right now we're focusing on getting better. That's what the fall is about, is to be able to develop, get better, and prepare for the next step and the next level for next season.
Has the cold front hit Jonathan yet?
We were in 100 degrees, so the cold front's gone.
I was about to say cold front in Texas.
we had a week. Actually, it was we had a week where it was 92 to 95. That was our cold front. Then we're back to 100 degrees today, and we're going to be on 100 degrees the rest of the week as well. So the cold front went away. It was very nice. We had some people I saw walking around. I kid you not, in sweatshirts. It was 92 degrees. I was not, but they were like, we're going to enjoy this as much as possible, and just until the 100 degrees does come back, which we're hitting now. Which should be about 104 tomorrow. Gotta love it.
That's killed these days, Jonathan. My son wears a hoodie. It's 100 degrees outside. I look at him like, "Hey, guy, you know it's 100 degrees outside," and that's just what I got to tell him. Like, if you want to be an idiot, be an idiot. But I just let you know it's 100 degrees outside.
How
so get that information what you want is what I was.
Got to hide his strap.
When it gets to 75, when it gets to 75 degrees, I'm wearing
jackets. Winter jackets are on.
Yeah, there were a couple of the kids. They were wearing hoodies. A couple of kids last week were wearing hoodies. Yeah.
Oh my God!
92 to 93 degrees. They're wearing hoodies out. They're wearing shorts, which still makes no sense to me in itself. I don't understand it. They wear a hoodie and a short, but from when it's 75 degrees, I start wearing sweatpants. I'll still wear a t-shirt. Below 70, I'm wearing long sleeve shirts and sweatpants, and that's how I coach from there, because I don't do
perfect 65. I do 65. A hoodie and shorts is perfect. I do like that, but I'm not doing it in 100 degrees. It doesn't
make sense to me. I've never been wearing a hoodie and shorts. It makes no sense to me. I'm wearing sweatpants.
Legs don't get cold. Legs don't get cold. Upper body gets cold. That's how I say it. That's
I gotta take care of my legs. Again, I gotta take care of my legs. I
can't help you got chicken ass legs. You know what I mean? Us guys who got 6'4" fucking gorilla legs. That fucking doesn't matter, brother.
I mean, I can still put 350 on the bar and squat that, and like it's nothing. Ain't no chicken legs on me. Right? Go. I posted it on Facebook a little bit. Go see what I did on the golf course today. I mean, I hit a ball.
I saw you. Hey, you was taking out. Hey, you was taking all the LSU madness out on that golf ball. That's for sure.
I can't. Maybe a little bit. It was nice. It wasn't fun. Like I said, it was a good week.
Florida State.
I don't want to see Florida State for a little while. Let's get Florida State in baseball. Let's do that. I'll take Florida State on in baseball for LSU. Let's keep away from them in football for a while until we can figure out how to play defense. But Yeah.
I can see Jonathan like Happy Gilmoreing the golf ball.
No, that's
beating the hell out of the ball.
I'll say this. That's not me. That's my girl. Now she'll do that. She'll hit a ball, and she will hit a ball about 280 yards doing it that way. She'll get pissed off. She'll swing and miss 2 times. She says, "Son of a bitch!" Runs up and hits it and goes 280 down the middle of the fairway. I mean, should just do that every time. Just do that. I mean,
get mad, honey. Get mad.
I can't get past the windmill.
We'll catch you next. We'll catch you next Monday after another great week of baseball, and we'll find out about how real the Lions are in about 3 days.
Yes, we will.
yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it, guys. As always, appreciate it.
All right, but have a good one, man.
Best of luck to you this Saturday, this weekend. Good luck, buddy. See you. Give it up for the one and only Jonathan Grishman, baby.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you look like Sam again. What the hell happened?
Sam, we'll start with you, Mr. Better Late Than Never, with your final goodbyes.
Is
here.
it though?
Final
Is
thoughts.
it though? Better late than never.
Shut up, Johnny. Sleep is really important, everyone. You should get sleep when you can. Or you'll fall.
Hey,
or you'll just
Sam, don't have 3 kids.
Always sleep when the baby's sleeping, bro.
That's
Whenever
right.
the baby sleeps. That's
Well,
when
he
you
was
sleep,
asleep,
man.
and so was I. Anyway,
I learned that right away with the first one.
Absolutely.
When the baby's sleeping, that's when you take advantage and get some sleep, man.
You're right. Unfortunately, it was right before the show. Anyway, so happy to announce that I'm hosting a roundtable show tomorrow with me, Carlos, and Crazy Uncle Rios. We'll be talking some AFC South, and we're going to have some guys from the Panthers on, I believe. And starts at 8 p.m. Central tomorrow. And guys, football Thursday. It's almost
It's
here.
game week, baby. It's game week.
Yes, that's right. We all got some games to watch. We're excited. Anticipation might stink, might not. We don't know. We'll have a games to discuss and bring it in front of us. And I have been waiting all season for this, and I can't wait. And I love you guys. I can't wait to do it with you.
I'm not excited about the Patriots this year. They're gonna get.
You're so full of shit.
I'm not doing
so
anything
full
to
of
you,
shit.
weirdo.
You're so full of shit.
Fucker.
You got Scott. You got a Drew Bledsoe jersey on there. What is it? You got a Patriots jersey on?
I do.
He
Yes,
has Scott convinced that the Patriots are going to win a division.
Who said that?
Right? I said you
Scott,
got
I said Miami.
Keith
I said
ain't got
Miami.
you convinced. Yeah,
I'm on the Dolphins bandwagon with you, Johnny.
I know you are.
I've been hanging out with the Yankees.
Keith was holding hard onto New England winning second place and making a playoff spot.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Scott, you got any final thoughts?
Yeah, Scott. Yeah.
Who we betting on tomorrow, Scott?
First of all, I'm sweating out this Clemson. Thank God Clemson's peeing down their legs, because if they weren't, I'd be in trouble. So the under looks pretty safe now. It's 21-7. Tomorrow is not going to be a baseball day. It's going to be more looking into football. You know, the spreads will start to change. Anybody that's betting, if you like something you see, bet it right away. Don't wait until kickoff, because it's going to change. The Detroit-Kansas City game is going to be an over, I think. 22-2 in the last 12 years. Each team is on the over in week 1. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And enjoy it. Football's back. Enjoy it. I'll be sitting in Las Vegas watching the game and then coming on with you guys at the end to make the picks. So
safe travels, brother. Safe travels to Vegas.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you.
Like I said, make sure you go outside every once in a while so you know if it's daytime or nighttime, bro.
And whatever happens in Vegas, it's going in Vegas.
Don't get up from a heater, Scott. Come on.
You remember everything stays in Vegas except for herpes.
That shit will go back to you.
Herpes will go back with you, bro.
That does come. And that does come back. It does come back.
Nobody told me that. Wait a minute. When I got the session in school on Vegas, nobody said things were coming back with me. What the hell?
Johnny, you got any final thoughts here?
Just happy for another great Monday. Again, this is game week. The NFL season officially starts on Thursday. Detroit at Kansas City. We all made our picks. Like I said, I'm gonna keep track of the Monday night picks with our boy Jim and Jonathan, so we can keep track of to see who's the king of Monday nights as far as the Thursday night picks. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. And again, if you're new, hit the subscribe, smash the like, click on the little bell so you get notifications. All of the round tables are back. Sam mentioned the AFC South tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. The AFC East, me, Scott, Matt Larison at Larison Bets, and the man himself, Dan Harris, with the AFC East roundtable tomorrow. Let's Talk Miami Dolphins tomorrow. Nick's got his shows. We got a bunch of slates for you on Sunday. Thursday, again, the LTS show. I believe our boy Witt is going to be with us to make some picks. We're going to be picking the rest of the week's picks on Thursday. And then Sunday morning is our pregame show for the whole slate of games for Monday. There'll be a cruising top 5 on Sunday morning. Scott will have his fantasy and bet and pick. So Sunday morning is going to be a lot of fun. Again, make sure you turn on the notifications, people. There's a lot of good content. Pre- and post-game shows for all the Monday, Thursday, and the Sunday games, of course. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Football season is in full effect, and we are ready to cover it all.
Yeah, we will be back again Thursday night. We'll be making all our picks for week 1. We're going to cover a little UFC as well with Witt. Again, we're playing for the gold chain. I can't wait. I almost want Scott to win this, though, at the nursing home when he shows up to the bingo parlor with this. And
right, especially with his shades, with his shades, too.
And his shades, a grill. Hey, Johnny, he looks like Paul Wall. You look like Paul Wall, you know.
Hello.
The people's champ, Paul Wall.
Yeah.
Fat coat.
Hello, ladies. I'll do my Val Venus impression when I go into the bingo hall at the nursing home.
There you go.
Hello,
Can't wait. Thursday night. We'll be back 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern, making all our picks. We'll have the game on, talking a little bit about the game as well. This is exciting. It's football season. Again, rest in peace to Guy Fieri. I mean, the lead singer of Smash Mouth. Hey, now you're an Oscar. I thought Guy Fieri and him were the same guy.
It is not Guy Fieri, people. It is not Guy
I thought
Fieri.
it was. I thought they were the same guy. Found out just before when the guy died that I thought it was Guy Fieri. So there's that. But anyway, rest in peace. Hey, now you're an all-star. We might as well be walking on the sun, baby. Be a friend. Tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. You guys know what to do. We'll be back Thursday night. We'll see you then. Making our first ever week 1 picks. Can't wait. See ya. Johnny, hit that outro, baby.
Last night, the sound of
Life better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep, only scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.